Toon Jam. Toon Jam. Hello and welcome to Toon Jam. Spooky month. Ooh. I have some rather sad news for you all. This is the last spooky episode.
No.
No more spooky for 2020. Though the year has been spooky enough.
Yes.
Still, we spook on. This is the final, as I've said, episode in the spook month, the spooky month. That is October, and we decided to go out on a bang with the real Ghostbusters.
Oh.
And just to make sure it's extra spooky today, we're going to be a bit more annoyingly spooky.
Spooky.
So just expect a few like every now and again. So the real Ghostbusters. A little bit of info on the real Ghostbusters. It's an American animated television series, a spin-off / sequel of the 1984 comedy movie Ghostbusters. The series ran from September 13th, 1986 to October the 5th, 1991, and was produced by Columbia Pictures Television, Deke Enterprises, and Coca-Cola Telecommunications.
Huh?
Yeah. So that was a short-lived first-run syndication unit of Columbia Pictures Television, created on November 24th, 1986. There's a merger between CPT's first-run syndication division, the television program source, the television. I'm not going to go on, but it is basically a Coca-Cola TV company.
That's so weird.
It didn't last too long, but scary stuff. What could have been?
Imagine if it had.
So there were 7 seasons. 140 episodes, including 33 episodes of a spin-off series, so to speak, called Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters.
All right.
So that was apparently at the start of the 4th season in 1988, the show was retitled to Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters.
He became the main character.
Yeah. In addition to the regular 30-minute Real Ghostbusters episode, a half-hour Slimer sub-series was added to the that included 2 to 3 short animated segments focused on the character Slimer.
How weird.
Because he was so popular with the kids.
That's crazy. So he had like 3 times as much time on screen than Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
That's mental.
That is crazy. So the normal series, continued the adventures of paranormal investigators Dr. Peter Venkman, Dr. Egon Spengler, Dr. Ray Stantz, and Winston Zeddemore, their secretary Janine Melnitz, and their mascot ghost Slimer. The Real was added to the title after a dispute with Filmation and its Ghostbusters properties, which I believe we mentioned last year when we did Extreme Ghostbusters. But today it's just the Real Ghostbusters. So let's just tell you a bit some fun facts about the show, because there's plenty. I mean, you could have just a whole show about the show's production. It's insane. So initially, there was a short pilot episode, which never aired, and it was a 4-minute promo, which was. Oh wait, no, that's later. Oh yeah, the full 4-minute promo was released on Time Life's DVD, set in 2008.
All right.
So that must be a different thing. I don't know. Scenes of the pilot can be seen in TV promos that aired prior to the beginning of the series. Among differences seen in the promo pilot, the Ghostbusters wore beige jumpsuits, as in the film, and the character design for Peter Venkman bore more of a resemblance to actor Bill Murray. The character designs by Jim McDermott were dramatically different, with colour-coded jumpsuits for each character. This is in the main series, so the ones we know now, like Egon's blonde. Peter doesn't look like Bill Murray.
No.
And so on. Apparently, when he auditioned for the voice of Egon Spengler, Maurice LaMarche noted that while he was asked not to impersonate Harold Ramis, he did so anyway and eventually got the part. LaMarche also noted that Bill Murray had remarked offhandedly to producers that Lorenzo Music's voice of Peter Venkman sounded more like Garfield, who was also voiced by Music at the time.
That is a really funny thing.
Funnily enough, Bill Murray went on to voice Garfield in the movie.
Yeah.
And its sequel after Music died.
So full loop.
Yeah, how strange. A different explanation for the change of actor for Peter Venkman came from Dave Coulier. I think that's how you say it. Coulier.
Yeah, Dave Coulier. Yeah.
Okay, who took over the role of Venkman for Music, who explained that Joe Medjuk, a producer on both the original 1984 film and the animated series, wanted the character to sound more like Bill Murray. And this is pretty crazy. Ernie Hudson was the only actor from the films who auditioned to play his character in the series.
Really?
Yeah, and that's Winston. So, however, the role was given to Arsenio Hall.
Why did they go to
And
Arsenio?
later Buster Jones.
That's so weird. Like they had the actual voice actor and then it was just like, nah.
Just didn't want him.
That's so strange.
So yeah, I mean, how weird is that?
I guess Arsenio was like popular, but I mean, he wasn't.
Maybe he was cheaper.
Maybe, yeah.
They only thought I could have, but
So,
who knows? Fun fact as well, J. Michael Straczynski was a story editor on the series and wrote episodes for every season except 4 and 7.
oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
By season 5, Louis Tully was added to the show in order to follow Ghostbusters 2.
Oh.
So there you go. It might be Lewis.
Yeah.
It says Louis, but you know they spell those names the same sometimes.
That's it.
I'm not that.
How can you know? How can you know?
I'm not that booked in on Ghostbusters knowledge as I was when I was a kid. So my apologies to all you ghost heads out there.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm a bit rusty on my Ghostbusters. What we did, as always, the first episode, which is, it doesn't start off, obviously, they just expect that if you're watching the Ghostbusters show, you know the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
So they introduce everything, you've got all the gadgets, what they're doing. But the first episode very much plays out like a very short version of like a film.
Yeah, definitely.
So you've got these class 5 ghosts causing trouble, and these guys are real 80s cartoon staples. Just character wise, you'll probably find them in any cartoon going. And then they decide to take on the Ghostbusters, disguise themselves as people, very unconvincing people, and then put them out of business. And then they try to wake up some class 7 ghost to, I guess, defeat the Ghostbusters. But then it turns out the class 7 ghost has disappeared, and in its place there's a class 8 ghost.
These numbers.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh no, it's a class 10, isn't it? Because it breaks Egon's classometer.
Almost goes to 11.
Yeah, so it must be a class 10, and it's a biggie.
Yeah.
And he's in an old toy factory, so naturally he turns into a giant toy amalgam creature.
Yeah. So that scene in Akira.
Yeah. And essentially it felt like they were just like, let's do like the film where we've got a giant marshmallow man at the end.
Yeah, it did feel very familiar.
Yeah. So I mean, that's your basic gist, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty much what happens.
But yeah, it's quite different. There are similarities and differences. The voices, they are just doing impressions of the guys from the movies. Actual character look. There's like there's not even really a vague there's some of them have a vague similarity, and then they just sort of accentuate it a bit.
Yeah.
But they're all super 80s.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, Egon, that hair.
His hair, oh man, another impossible hairdo. How would you do that?
I mean, there must be so much work that goes into it.
Yeah. It's so flawless the way that he wears it. It's not like he's never like, oh, watch the hair. He's just like, like it's normal.
Yeah. It's crazy that someone that he was like the team nerd.
Yeah.
Yet, well, he is and he isn't. Is like really Ray is the team nerd. It's it's not the layout that you necessarily expect, is it?
No.
But so I mean, before we go on, did you watch this?
I think I've seen a couple episodes, like fleetingly, but like it wasn't something I sat down and watched loads of. I did like Ghostbusters when I was younger though, so yeah. I think I just didn't catch it that often.
I think I did. I really liked Ghostbusters when I was a kid. I had loads of toys, obviously from this, but I do remember being well into Slimer. Yeah,
I like Slimer as well.
So I'm wondering if I caught more of the Slimer-themed episodes later on. But I mean, obviously, these ended before I was born. So it would have been, well, actually, no, sorry. It ended I would have been 2 when it ended.
Yeah.
So it would have been reruns I was watching and repeats and stuff like that. But I do remember loving it and having a load of toys because I think they were my cousin's old toys as well. But Ghostbusters were just really cool.
Yeah.
I think I liked all the gadgets.
Yeah, it's a really cool mix of like, you've got like monsters, because the ghosts in Ghostbusters are weird, aren't they? Because they're not really like typical like spooky ghosts.
Yeah.
They're not just like see-through phantom people or whatever, or like blobs like Casper or whatever. They're pretty much monsters, aren't they?
But yeah, because it's not like they were people. There's the odd one I remember in the film. Felt more like they could have been a person.
Yeah.
Or like they were some evil old lord or something.
Yeah.
But then there was all these, there's like Slimer clearly wasn't a person.
No.
Like maybe he was in some weird backstory, but he doesn't look like he was. They've got like human features, but overall they just look like monsters. Like they've always been a ghost.
That's it. So I think that's probably what appealed to me the most, like that. Yeah. Slimer's made out of slime, and obviously, one thing that you couldn't get enough of in the 90s, and was slime.
Yeah, clearly the 80s as well.
Yeah.
Slime is the time.
Yeah, that's it. Slime is just a big thing. So, that's a winner. Then you've got like the outfits and stuff. So there's like, it's kind of like an automatic costume there, isn't there?
Yeah.
And the gadgets, like it all just seemed really cool that like everything had like a function, and it's like you've got the trap, and then you've got like the beams, like at that, like anything that kind of looks like a gun is immediately like toy worthy.
Yeah.
Anything with the trigger, it's like the kids will love that. They love it.
That's
so it just had all these elements that you were like, oh, that's really cool. And then also being in like it's in New York or whatever, right? So
like, which is again time for things to be set in New York.
Yeah, you were just like, oh yeah, New York, that's where everything's happening.
Yeah.
Right. And if you went by all the cartoons, it'd be an absolute nightmarish place to live because like there's ghosts there, there's monsters there, there's demons there, like everything that could possibly go wrong is happening in New York. But it still seems like a cool place to live.
So, do you know what? There's a certain like with Pokemon, the capturing of the ghost.
Yeah.
It's got that feel to it. Where it's like there's so many more out there. You just kind of want to catch them all.
Yeah.
And like the idea of using that box, and you have to like pull them in with your laser gun thing.
Yeah.
Then open the box, and it's like you have to set the trap. Then you put them in that machine afterwards, and it's got all these levers on, and like, it's just especially like the thought of that as a kid, it's all exciting.
Yeah, there's something about the like systematic way that it all works together that feels really fun. Like
Yeah.
it shouldn't be, because it's just like it's like operating a machine in a factory or something. But for some reason, it's just really satisfying to be like,
Yeah.
yeah, do this now, and now this part. Yeah, and it just makes for cool toys.
Yeah.
And,
And
yeah,
it changes it because it's like, say, like there is the odd ghost in Ghostbusters that has a backstory and stuff like that.
yeah,
But overall, they aren't people with sad stories.
no,
So you capture them because they're menaces.
yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, we're doing the city a favor by getting
Yeah,
rid of these things.
and it's like pest control,
Yeah,
and
and
it's just clever.
I guess there's like the sort of Pokemon element as well, almost of like they're kind of everywhere, aren't they? Like you
Yeah,
could just be wandering along and it's like, oh, there's a hotel that's just got like, oh, they've just got a ghost now. So it's like
yeah.
they could kind of pop off anywhere. Was like the other cool thing. It's like, oh yeah, they're all around. It's just always happening. So it never kind of slowed down.
Did you like? I mean, they've got like they did. It's clever, really, the cartoon, and I think I must. I definitely watched the cartoon more than the film,
Mm,
because that's where I knew them from. And they do, I guess, as kids, you need those differences. Like in a cartoon, I imagine Ray and Peter would have looked pretty much the same.
yeah,
Like there's not that big a difference, especially for cartoon characters.
no.
And even Eagle, it would have just been three guys with brown hair, glasses. So you can see why they changed that up.
Yeah,
Um, but it's clever. They did a sort of semi Ninja Turtles with it, giving them different coloured jumpsuits and different characteristics that were a bit more honed in, I guess, for kids. Did you have a favourite when you were a kid?
I don't think I did. No, I think I just enjoyed the whole thing as a whole. Yeah, I think I just liked all of them collectively. Probably Slimer would have been my
Yeah, I
pick.
mean,
Like, oh yeah, he's my favorite Ghostbuster. But yeah, what about you?
well, what I thought that was really weird because in the film he was a villain, wasn't he?
Yeah,
He wasn't a villain, but he wasn't their mate.
no.
But you loved him,
Mm,
and it was kind of like, oh, why is he like that in the film?
yeah,
But I think Peter was my favourite.
really.
Yeah, which rewatching is quite annoying. He's just like it is just like Garfield, but snark.
That's it.
It's like an unlikable Garfield,
Garfield, sans stripes, and lasagna.
and it's quite crazy how like Winston is quite stereotypical.
Mm,
Like you don't really, obviously, growing up in that time and things like that. But we've watched a lot of cartoons now, and some of them are quite, stereotypical. Some are quite good for the time at
yeah.
trying to break those boundaries. But this is like calling people turkeys
Mm.
and just shouting stereotypical things every now and again.
Yeah, just seems very aggressive black man, doesn't he?
Yeah. and like he's not for saying, like it's like he's not in it that much.
Yeah,
You look at how many lines. Like Peter seems to be almost the main character, doesn't he?
yeah, definitely.
Was that the case in the films?
Um,
I can't remember. It's
can't
been
really
so long
remember.
since I've seen the films.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I'm sure he does kind of steal the limelight a bit.
Yeah,
But I think there is more of the other guys as well.
yeah. But yeah, an interesting sort of way of showing them all. And again, we only watched one episode, so it could be something like often with these team shows, it looks like you've got a show of 4 characters, but you can't really concentrate on all of them for one episode.
Yeah, it's usually like
It's just not enough time.
one per episode, isn't it?
Yeah, so you'll have separate characters having separate bits.
Yeah,
It's pretty funny that they all sleep in the Ghostbusters tower.
yeah,
Like that's their entire life.
yeah. Just there, just living it.
Just
Yeah.
live, work.
That's it. With all the ghosts just in their like 240 volt, like 10 gigawatt trap system that they've got downstairs or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like saying all these technical things, and then but even now it's like that doesn't sound that impressive. Or like 240 volts, like is that that's,
Like, I've
that's
got
not a lot.
bulbs that strong.
Pardon?
Like, you can get bulbs that strong, can't you?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's
am
like,
I getting that mixed with wattage there? Probably.
same thing, mate.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Definitely not embarrassing. Anyway.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's like, that's probably like USB power now, like 240.
I don't know much about electricity, but
Yeah.
it doesn't sound very impressive.
No, it was just like, oh, okay, cool. I guess that was sick in the 80s or whatever. But
yeah,
it's pretty funny how all their equipment's really kind of like old and claps out now. Like if you redid Ghostbusters now, you'd kind of really have to update a lot of the.
Well, obviously there is a new Ghostbusters film coming out.
Yeah.
We had one not long ago, which had, I guess, mixed feelings about it, because it was an all-female cast. I don't want to get too political on that hot potato.
But some people liked it, and some people didn't.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it. No.
I've seen bits of it. But it looked very similar to the old films.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, not really seen it. I'm not going to comment on it. But I don't know about their gear in it, if that's any newer. I think it is, but I think it's got some similarities.
Yeah.
Then I think that the new one looks as if it isn't at all. Like it's all the old stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it looks very, sort of like Jurassic World, where it hangs up on the old stuff.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
So it looks very reminiscent and nostalgic for all those old ghost heads out there.
That's it.
But we'll see. I don't really know.
I suppose it was that time of, like everything, like the analog systems and stuff were all very like chunky, and everything was like a big, like plastic item, wasn't it? Like, from like videos to toys, everything was just like this big sort of cumbersome thing. But that was kind of the appeal, was like, oh, look at all this equipment. And I think that's kind of what Ghostbusters has. Whereas like now, pretty much they'd have all of that on a smartphone, and they probably just have like a drone that comes in and does the trapping and everything. It'd be really boring to watch.
Because there wouldn't. I don't think you'd have a problem with a lot of their gear.
No,
it'd just be the interfaces.
Yeah. So
it's just like the screen on their Ghost Finder. Just modernise that a little bit.
That's it. Yeah.
Because you're still happy with the guns, the packs, the boxes.
I suppose the packs are probably like 240 volts. It's like they'd probably be smaller as well, so they probably wouldn't look as cool.
Yeah.
They'd probably be like a
handgun.
Yeah, maybe like a small satchel.
Yeah, like a laser pen.
Yeah. Just really
watch out.
Really not satisfying, like with a laser pen.
Yeah.
Like a number 10 ghost on the Brooklyn Bridge or whatever. It's like, it's not quite the same thing.
But yeah, how did you find this episode was like reminiscent of what you knew about the Ghostbusters, or did you think it was different enough to be good, or too different, or what did you think?
I think it very much reminded me of what Ghostbusters was about. There's like, Slimer being himself and getting up to nonsense and like kissing people and stuff, just getting slime everywhere.
He's just like a Looney Tune, isn't he, really?
He really is, yeah. And there was like, those guys going out and saving the day, and like, really loving the fandom that they get.
Oh, yeah.
And they've got the traps, they've got the weird ghosts that are like just these ugly kind of weird 80s creations.
Yeah.
And then like,
don't you think they looked like I mean, this is a very British reference, but Monster Munch characters?
Yeah, they did.
So that's a brand of crisps or chips.
The translation.
Yeah, just Google Monster Munch.
Yeah.
And be like, oh right, that's what they look like.
Yeah, they were like that. And then you've got that big one at the end that's just like a huge,
eye on a
eye and a bunch of toys or whatever. But I think what was weird was like it didn't really feel spooky in the fact that like so much of it was like in the day, it seemed.
Yeah, it was all in the day, wasn't it?
Yeah, like even like the big monster fight at the end was like, oh, this would have looked really cool if it was at night. It would have looked well
Yeah.
scary. It would have been
And,
like
and that was,
Cloverfield.
and that was what was kind of cool is like in all the ghosts,
Hmm.
like they would glow bright colors.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's like those bright 80s colors, so like green, like lime green, like or neon, wasn't it?
yeah. That's right.
Pink, neon, blue, whatever. And it kind of you that is missing a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the intro and like there was a bit at the start where they used the beams, and like it still looks cool in the cartoon, like when they used like the lasers and stuff that come out because they're so like frantic and weird and wiry and stuff. It still looks really cool, but there just wasn't enough of that, I don't think.
No.
And yeah, not enough nighttime stuff. So it sort of takes the spooky away a bit more because I always remember being quite afraid of Ghostbusters the films when I was younger.
Yeah.
Whereas this is obviously a bit more kid friendly.
But that's it, and I guess that's the entire point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is to make sure that kids aren't getting too scared and they can watch this version, and it was really good idea because they fully capitalized on. And it's weird, like I know we keep going off on tangents, but the film, when you consider that was just by a bunch of Saturday Night Live guys, and it's a comedy film. And they made this whole thing where now it's a massive franchise.
Yeah.
And it has all these different things in it that don't necessarily belong in just your average comedy film. And then they've really marketed it to kids, which I guess is not what they ever planned to do.
No.
And that's what's weird now, I think, is that or it seems to me the biggest fans of Ghostbusters are people that probably got into it around this time when they were kids, and loved the cartoons.
Yeah. And
they like it seems like they want a serious, like a Ghostbusters Extreme now. But it's surely you're taking that away from what they want.
That's it. Yeah. It is weird the way that it's progressed, but yeah, I think this does it definitely does a good job of converting it into something that kids would enjoy.
Yeah,
like, I think the episode was like, it felt kind of long in a way because it felt like they'd done loads, like a lot had happened within the space of the episode.
Yeah,
so it did kind of feel like a film in that respect as well.
Oh
yeah, remember back 15 minutes ago when they just caught those ghosts.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, I think we've covered a good bit of Ghostbusters there. I feel like we've not included enough of that going on. So, So sorry you've had to experience that once. But that's the kind of thing that this month's all about, baby.
That's it.
So let's jump on to our reviews.
Welcome. Come on in. Have a browse.
Oh, hi. Yeah. Don't mind me. I'm just having a look. See around.
What you eyeing up there?
Oh, if I'm honest, I'm just looking for some equipment.
So I see you eyeing up this tomahawk here.
Well, I mean, you've got a tomahawk here?
Electric tomahawk, yeah. This is 25 volts. It's not bad, but you want a real axe.
Is that a lot of volts?
No, that's not a lot of volts at all.
Oh, sorry.
No. You want some real power. You want this 60 volt guitar here. This baby's a real axe. You know what I'm talking about?
Do you just sell different things that are volt powered? Is that
what you're selling? The world works on volts. We didn't make the rules, we just live by them. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, what I've really come here. I'm looking for some. I'm starting a ghost busting business, and I'm looking for something that I can
Oh, the
store
busting.
ghosts
Yeah, we got stuff for busting. Check out this Ghostbusters 7000 here. This baby will suck up just about almost anything. This is, let me tell you, this is 90 volts of power inside of this. Cool.
Yeah,
If you want to Ghostbusters.
I'm not entirely on board with the vault system. I don't know a lot about it. I just need something that can store ghosts. We've got all sorts of ghosts coming in. So
ghost, yeah, this will suck up a ghost, but it's not really it's really powerful. What kind of equipment you need? What kind of other stuff you got there?
Well, I'm looking for something that will store a class 5, maybe 6, 7, maybe even ghosts.
I mean, that sounds wow. That sounds. Come all the way to the back. Follow me. I'll show you what you want. You don't want this. This is some low volt stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, I mean, I'm concerned about the low voltage. I don't know much about volts, but
I mean, this is sub 100 volts back here. You don't need any. If you want to come, follow me. Don't mind Steve there. He's in the tank. That's where we test all the voltage. Right. He's a quiet guy. How you doing, Steve? Yeah, he wants to say hello.
Is that safe?
Hey, check. Come here. Look, you see this back wall here? Look at this. I know it looks just like an oven.
It looks exactly like an oven. I mean, it is an oven.
I mean, you got the dials there. You got the lever there that goes to the grill. Because let me tell you, this is an oven.
Yeah.
And what this oven is 240 volts of power.
And is that a lot for a normal oven?
240 volts is 40 volts more than 200 volts. And that, my friend, is a lot of power.
I mean, yeah. I mean, is this gonna... I mean, it looks like an oven. I don't know. Is this what I'm wanting to be using for storing ghosts?
Oh, I mean, the power inside this baby, 240 volts, this will fry an Arctic dragon from another dimension. Let me tell you that much. Oh, this baby, it's just full to the brim with volts. I mean, you go near it, sometimes you get a little shock. I mean, that's why my hair is fuzzy. It wasn't. It was straight before this.
I mean, is it safe?
Oh, it's safe. It's safe now. It's just brimming with that voltage. You know what I'm talking about? You ever fried an egg on a 10-volt oven before?
No, I can't.
Of course you have. Nobody has. You can't even. 10 volts. That's nothing. 240 volts inside this thing. That's a lot of eggs.
And they do 10-watt ovens, right?
Nope, not anymore. That's That's the thing of the past. That's
right. Okay.
Don't make those no more. No, that's.
So I mean, I'm looking to get into the ghost busting business. I'm not expecting to be like the Ghostbusters overnight, but I'm not so sure. Do they have ovens that they keep their ghosts in?
Oh, let me tell you, I sold those guys at 240 a long time ago, and they've never been happier. They've never been happier. This thing will be perfect for you. This is 240. That's 240. That ain't just 24. This ain't a kid's wind up train toy. This is 240 volts.
Okay, then I guess I'm going home with an oven.
That's what I'm talking about. You know what you're talking about, son. That's a sale. That's 240 for you. So how much cash you got there?
I got 240.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, so here at Toon Jam, we have a 3-point rating system that goes as follows. So we've got thumbs up, Slimer time, the real star of this show. Thumbs down, is that just Garfield? And shaky middle is our knowledge on the voltage system. So
yeah,
good, bad, or I'm not really sure where that lies. So the real Ghostbusters, your thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely liked the familiarity of it being associated with Ghostbusters. I mean, they obviously have changed the characters a little bit, but it very much feels like the Ghostbusters that you kind of know and love. as far as the ghosts go in this one, it was kind of weird that they did the whole like turn into humans thing, because that kind of made me question the rest of population.
Yeah.
And what they're capable of, and why they don't just live normal lives as humans or whatever, apparently. But either way, they were pretty fun, and having the big monster at the end was quite cool, and again felt kind of like a film. It felt like a good sample of what to kind of expect from the show and Ghostbusters overall. It wasn't. I don't think it was. I don't think it's going to win any awards or anything, but it was kind of just what you wanted going in. So
yeah,
I don't think there's much I'd change from it, other than maybe changing the setting to night to make it more spooky. But if that scares the kids too much, then it's probably not a good option.
yeah.
But I think overall it kind of did what I expected of it. So I think for me it's probably going to be a thumbs up, actually.
There you go. A good ending for you. Yeah, the real Ghostbusters. I didn't know I've not watched it in so long, and I loved it as a kid. So it was very much not sure if this is going to ruin everything for me.
Yeah.
Going back to it. Obviously, sometimes I'm a very fickle when it comes to the 80s at the moment. But no, I think it lived up to my memories of it. I like as weird as it seemed going in, I actually like that they changed the design of the characters. And I feel I understand more why they did that. I never really understood it as a kid.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked before about as a kid, when you watch different versions of things, you can't understand the differences. Like, why did they make that difference?
Yeah.
But it definitely differentiates the characters and gives you more of a varied group. And even just changing their jumpsuits, it's changing colour. It's like the Ninja Turtles. They need those different coloured, headbands.
That's it.
Or masks, or whatever you want to call them. So I like that about it. It felt very Ghostbusters. It has all the cool stuff, the gadgets, if not sort of more of it.
Yeah.
And there's more Slimer in the cartoon. So yeah, really, it's a thumbs up from me. I can see exactly why it was so popular.
Yeah.
And I can see why it's lived on so long. It's a cool original concept. And even if obviously there was an original Ghostbusters, but I'm not sure how original that concept was in comparison. What they've added so much to the old Monster Hunter genre, and made it they modernized it for the times.
Yeah.
And fit it, like I said, originally it was fit into a comedy movie. It's just not where you'd expect it. It's almost like an underdog series, an offbeat enough thing. I guess they just had a really, as much as there's so many rubbish toy scheme cartoons and stuff.
Yeah.
Some of them you can see how they did so well, and they just did really good jobs, especially with this and certain things of taking properties and making kids shows out of them.
Yeah.
And really making shows, not just like, what do people like about the films? It's like, right, we know what's good about it. Now, what are kids going to take the most out of it, and doing it well? I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of examples where they don't manage to do that, and they pick the worst things, and it just doesn't work out.
That's it.
But I mean, just by adding Slimer as a one of the Ghostbusters, essentially, it was something. I remember having Slimer toys.
Yeah. I'm sure
I
had
my favourite. So it just adds something to it, and the fact that there's good ones as well as bad ones, they just did a really good job with it. So yeah, it was a good ending for an overall good spooky month.
Yeah.
So I can tell you,
spooky.
The worst rated cartoon that we've gone over was Toon Sylvania, with a thumbs up and a middle. The rest, so Mummies Alive, Grizzly Tales for Gruesome Kids, and of course the real Ghostbusters, all thumbs up.
Oh, look at that.
So
spooky wins.
Month. It's been a good one this year. I mean, last year we had a tough time.
Yeah.
So I think the best one last year was Extreme Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
But the others were like Transylvanian Pet Shop.
No.
I don't know if you can remember any of the others. But they weren't good, whatever they were.
Yeah, they were forgettable, which is
they were forgettable. That just shows you. But we've covered some really good ones. What of the four to take us out on a spooky conclusion? Which do you think was maybe the one that stood out the most for you? Maybe lived up, maybe like surprised you in a way.
I think actually this kind of surprised me because I kind of forgotten that I'd even really liked Ghostbusters. So
yeah.
Then when I actually watched this, I was like, this actually got loads of cool stuff about it that I completely forgot.
Yeah.
It was. I did have like twinges of nostalgia, which is like a rare emotion for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good. I think the others were. We watched some good stuff actually. What about you? What was your?
I have to agree with you. I think it was weird almost going back to this because this is the one that you probably just feel like you remember the most.
Yeah.
Because it's Ghostbusters, you just know it. But you can sort of. It's like you say, you watch it and you can see exactly why you loved it so much as a kid and how you got into it and why it's such a big property.
Yeah. And
it is so easy to forget. Because as I've got older, I've been a bit more like, I'm not that bothered by Ghostbusters. Yeah. But having watched this, when a new film comes out, I'll be a bit more like, oh, yeah.
Maybe I could spin, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was definitely interesting and cool to watch. I think other than that, well, I mean, Mummy's Alive, I realised I'd not really seen before, so it was cool.
That was pretty much as I remember it.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
And Grizzly Tales was also a nice little. That was, I think, for me, probably had a different. It's like a different sort of nostalgia that I remember from being a kid, and I think it's because it's that British.
Yeah.
Toon. And then Toon Sylvania, even though I gave it a thumbs up, did enjoy it. It was still the most sort of. It was a bit of a disappointing one.
Yeah, it was a bit bland. Bland, that one.
So yeah, it's been a good spooky month. So back to normal next week, and then I guess it's not long till festive month.
Oh.
Comes around so fast.
It does.
But don't worry, we've got November. We can chill out, watch some standardo, non-themed things for a bit. You won't have us doing, jolly or silly things. Well, but less. So once again, thank you for joining us, guys. I hope you've enjoyed our spooky month. If you have, please feel free to rate and review us. It helps us out so much, and it's so easy to do. It doesn't cost you anything. It takes a couple of seconds, and really helps other people find us. If you want even more, you can head over to our Patreon, and there are bonus episodes on there. Obviously, it is if you support us, but check them out. Maybe you're interested. And otherwise, until next time. Oh wait, no, you can find us on the 3 vaults of the internet. Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at ToonJamPod. And until next time, you stay jammy.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening. If you want to help the show keep going, you can be extra jammy by heading over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/ToonJamPod. Here you can get a shout out on the show or unlock bonus episodes. Ratings and reviews anywhere you listen to the podcast also really help us out. So thank you, and stay jammy.